There's so much criticism and opinions out there. You're doing it wrong. Why aren't you on the tools? You should be digging the trenches. If you're not getting on the roof, putting the solar panels on, you're not really, setting a good example.
Yeah.
My goal was to get to a full-time admin as fast as possible, because that would allow me to work on the business, not in it.
Yeah.
And that was always the goal. Very quickly, you start doing what you said you never would.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Tradies Success Podcast. Especially excited to have Andrew Hicks from Discover Electrical up from the Mornington Peninsula in Melbourne, Victoria. Yeah. Thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks, mate. It's great to be here. Excited to be on the podcast with you.
And the reason I'm so excited is Andrew joined the academy over 18 months ago. He started his business 18 months ago, and he started in the academy and incubator 3 months before he started his business. And it's a bit of a different spin that not many people take, and I think it's a really good one, and we're going to talk about that today. And the amount of growth that you've had, since your strategy day last year, is up again for a second strategy day with us.
Yeah.
But it's been phenomenal, so I can't wait to share that with you guys. So welcome aboard.
Thank you, mate. Excited to talk about this and share the journey. It's been a challenge. That's for sure.
Yeah. And business is a challenge, man, and I can't wait to hear your story.
Sure.
We just spent some time in the sauna and ice bathing. It's been a good start to the podcast, so looking forward to getting into it.
Ready to go.
All right, so when we were in there, you were talking about, pre-COVID, you're thinking about starting a gym. Can you share that story with the listeners?
Yeah, interesting story actually. The missus went away for a couple of weeks, and she left me to my own devices before kids, and she come back, and I'd been to about 10 different gyms and tried to suss out if there's a gym I could jump onto, buy, or get onto a franchise with, something I was passionate about. And basically because in the job I was in, I was an operations manager there, sort of hit a ceiling. I needed a new challenge. Something broken in me, but always needed a challenge. So she got home and she's like, what are you doing? I kept on trying to learn about what I could do to do that. And then all of a sudden, COVID hit. So it was a really good idea that I didn't invest in a gym at that time in my life.
Could you imagine, eh?
Yeah, exactly right. So dodged a bullet there. But then got through COVID and had a baby, and we went through all the challenges that led us to. So, yeah.
I guess that might feel a little bit like what the graphic designers and other people in the trade, that sort of graphic design and creative sort of world at the moment with AI are feeling, if they've invested all their time
100%
trying to get into that.
Yeah, good example,
We were just talking about that before the session as well.
Yeah.
So then you obviously couldn't start a gym because of COVID. So how did you go about starting Discover, and where were you at that point?
Well, I guess at that point, we were lucky enough that we were a trade that could keep on working. So as an operations manager in the business, there was about 60 of us. Really good company, good culture, great boss. Lots of challenges there, which was good. It got me really prepared for what I'm doing today.
Yeah.
But I sort of hit a ceiling there. As far as challenges go and everything. My boss was great. He kept allowing me to invest in renewable energy training, learning about battery, solar, which allowed us to have more opportunities. Mm-hmm. And there was just this itch that needed a scratch, I guess. And it was June. It would be June 2023. Sat down with him, had a chat which he knew was coming. And I said, look, I'm thinking about going out on my own. I'll give you 6 months. Let's put a plan in place, and we'll go from there. So it was really amicable. It was a good way to go, and I'm really glad we had that relationship. 15 years in that job from day one of my apprenticeship. I was there.
Right. Cool.
Yeah. So it ended really well, and then on the 1st of January 2024, so 18 months ago, I started the business.
Yeah.
And that was crazy, and went pretty hard into it, which I'm sure we'll touch on shortly. So.
Yeah, cool, man.
Yeah.
Awesome, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
And where do you think this drive to want to start a business has come from? Like, have you got experiences growing up where you wanted to always challenge yourself, or?
I guess so. Like, I grew up oldest of 5, quite a big family. I think to be heard at the dinner table, you always had to be the loudest, and it was cool to share stories and everything like that. And very lucky, everyone in my family is successful in their own way, and I think it's almost contagious, as well as all of your friends. You're definitely a product of your environment.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's kind of, like I said, very contagious. But I don't know, just always wanting to get the best out of myself and not ever wondering. Just not having that ceiling and wanting to, live and die by your own sword, by your own decisions. I think there's a lot in that. And I just really wanted to experience that for myself.
Yeah, cool, man.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So 3 months before that time when you started the business, you decided to join the academy?
Yep.
Like what got you into the academy? What were you saying?
So the Tradies Success Academy was very good with their algorithms back then, and I'm sure they really are now. So Ed knew I really wanted to start the business, and knew I had that conversation with my boss. So everything I saw from the academy it was showing me was relatable. It was almost, I was in a different position to other people in the academy, as you touched on earlier. I hadn't seen the challenges that were getting presented to me yet.
Yeah.
So I had the opportunity to prepare for it.
Yeah.
So not long after that conversation with my boss in June, I had a conversation 1 month later with a guy I really wanted to hire based on the content I was seeing from Tradies Success Academy.
Yeah.
So September, I jumped into Incubator, which I'm stoked to see you guys have got going again. That was wild. I remember putting the kids to bed, on Tuesday night, and jumping on Incubator for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky enough, Tobias was on that Incubator, and I'll hopefully be seeing him tomorrow. He's at Strategy Day, so another guy that's around. But the amount that I learnt in that, wow, so much. And it really put me in good stead to start fresh with nearly no systems in place.
Yeah.
So I could just implement everything that I was taught. It was really good.
Yeah, and we were just talking in the sauna before about businesses who start and they build their foundations and they're set in their ways. It just becomes harder and harder the bigger you get to shift and make changes with the team and all that sort of stuff. It's not impossible, and it's definitely something that people should do.
Yeah.
It's just a lot harder than someone that's absolutely nimble and can just start with the right information and do it right from the start.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
A big challenge was obviously capital for me. Started with nothing. I actually cashed out whatever I had left of my long service leave and bought a van, and that was me. That was it.
Yeah.
From zero. So did some jobs, and I was like, I know I'm going to use SimPro. Couldn't afford it, but I knew I was going to end up with it.
Yeah.
So based on everything I learned, it's like, all right, just all in.
Yeah.
Did the training, couldn't afford the time to do the training, but we found a way.
Yeah.
And we did it, and I'm glad we did it. It is a beast, and quite often we hear it's such a beast, the training takes so much time, but I knew I was going to end up with it, so I started with it.
Cool.
Yeah, so it was really, really good.
And something else you started with, which we were talking about, is 2 weeks in you hired your first full-time tradesperson.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was
That's
wild.
that guy, right?
Yes, yeah, that was it. Yeah, so that was definitely on the back of all of Greg's talks and that 3 months in Incubator beforehand. So yeah, the phone call I made after my chat with my boss back in June was to this guy that I was like, I'm going to start a business. Do you want to do it with me? I'd love to have you by my side.
Yeah.
Took a few months of talking, but yeah, 2 weeks into the new year, I had this A grade. I worked out that I could afford to pay him for 7 weeks. And I was just trusted the process, trusted that I would get enough work. Talked to my wholesalers, got 3 month credit terms, talked to my customers, got 1 week payment terms, and really just worked it out from there. And yeah, it was a challenge. It was scary. Really glad I did it, because then it allowed you to go, all right, well, that worked. And to this day, even only 3 months ago, I did the same thing. I employed someone that I couldn't afford, even doing a lot of cost of ops and everything. But cost of ops is easily my favorite thing that I would say to anyone you need to do before you start to do anything.
Yeah.
That, and get a pair of AirPods so you can do 2 things at once rather than talking on the phone.
Yeah.
So those are 2 things. But cost of ops won't tell you like the faith you need to have in yourself in order to get work to go out and just to hustle. And you won't hustle if you don't need to. So I needed to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was
true,
risky.
right? You put yourself in the environment that forces you to grow.
Yeah.
The other thing with the cost of ops, while that's great and it shows you the reality of the situation, what it doesn't show all the time is potential opportunity that you can gain by putting on that hire, and lost opportunity by not putting them on.
100%.
And so you would have learned that through Incubator and then said, this makes sense.
Yeah.
Like if I'm out in the tools, I'm not able to grow the business anymore.
100%.
So can you talk us through those 7 weeks, and obviously you were like, fuck, I've got 7 weeks to be able to afford this person.
Yeah.
What happened, if you can remember, week by week,
Oh.
like for you, like, fuck, got to get the work, got to try
Yeah.
and fill the schedule, I got to get the cash in.
So very quickly, you start doing what you said you never would. Is doing jobs you know you'll get paid for quicker. Because of that risk, I need that money in the bank account so I can pay him. And then that money comes in, you know, quicker, and the jobs get bigger, and the risks also get bigger. And then you just need to beat that big supplier bill, essentially, like that. So it was scary. Honestly, I feel like it's just as scary now because the number, it's almost like the same percentages. The numbers are just bigger.
Yeah.
It's crazy with a bigger team. So yeah, talk through that. Lots of highs and lows, but also making sure that the guy I put on, he had no doubt that this was the right thing. And I think what I've done with everyone that I've employed is complete transparency. You're not coming into anywhere that's got everything sorted out, all the systems in place, but I want you to be a part of the growth because we're going to do something special, and people like that. They want to be a part of something. And
isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's really cool.
I think a big part of what I see with a lot of our members and a lot of people in the trade industry is they want to be prepared before they hire, but then they need the time to be able to invest in the preparation and the systems to be prepared to do the hire.
That's it.
And you just don't have the time being a business owner, therefore you don't hire and you get stuck.
100%.
So that approach where you're just transparent from the start with the people you're hiring, it's brilliant.
Yeah. And I guess like to a bigger scale, so by August we had a team of 6.
Yeah.
And that so it was wild. And you know, we spoke earlier about there was so much criticism and opinions out there, you're doing it wrong. Why aren't you on the tools? You should be digging the trenches. If you're not getting on the roof, putting the solar panels on, you're not really, you know, setting a good example.
Yeah.
My goal was to get to a full-time admin as fast as possible because that would allow me to work on the business, not in it.
Yeah.
And that was always the goal.
Cool.
Yeah. So that up to that August, I had a part-time admin, and only up until 3 months ago, full-time. Cool. And that's even more of a hybrid role than an admin.
Yeah.
So,
I like the story because you shared that with me as well about the preparation and you know, you're going out to try and find an admin person, but you found someone else.
Yeah.
Love you to share that story as well because that's really cool.
Yeah.
How you've adapted the org chart to be able to hand off more responsibility that you're doing to hire someone who's more skilled, but also does a hybrid role. So share that.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's quite an interesting process. So 3 months ago, looking for an admin, 3-day-a-week admin to do, you know, the invoicing, reconciling. Lots of applicants. You chuck administration officer on Seek, and you're literally talking hundreds of applicants. So sat in front of a lot of people, and then, you know, one guy reached out to me. Luckily enough, you can put a Seek ad out there. We shared it to our Instagram story. Someone saw it, shared it with their partner, now they're on board. So that one thing we may not have done may not have led us to this now. So it's amazing, those forks in the road. So to touch on the role. So again, advertising for an admin officer role, we had roles and responsibilities. It was about a quarter of a page of what that role entailed. Someone come in, they used to be, you know, operations, in charge of the operations and services and the scheduling at another company. But the problem was they wanted more money and they wanted a full-time job. I was offering, you know, 3 days at a percentage of the rate.
Yeah.
Really liked this guy. So interviewed a couple of other people. I'm like, all right. So what I did, got him to come back a week later, and in that time, I grabbed out the admin roles and responsibilities, and I got out my roles and responsibilities. Looking at the org chart, all the roles you need to cover in a business. And I started moving some of those roles across to a role that I thought this guy could fit into.
Yeah.
So that was anywhere between, with marketing, that could have been lead generation. Like, again, you still got admin, operations, ordering. I was like, all right, well, let's just see what this looks like. So got him in, again, fully transparent about where the business is at. Slid the now 3 pieces of paper across the table and said, this is now the role that I'm proposing to you as a full-time job at the rate you're asking for.
Yeah.
And we talked through it, and it took us a while. And it was kind of cool because I noticed his smile got bigger and bigger as he looked through it. And I knew this was a guy that would want to help us grow the business.
Yeah.
So, and then from there, I've worked out, all right, now I've been able to do that. If I can purely focus on getting work and looking after the team, then anything outside of that, I really should be looking to delegate or lean in onto other team members.
Yep.
So yeah, we've got really reliable team members and they're all wanting to put their hand up to play a part in the growth. And I'm going to start leading into that even more. So,
Cool.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing about like the org chart that we teach is a template, and you can tear it apart and make any types of roles.
Yeah.
But it's a starting point. The way that we built that was taking every responsibility that's required at a trade business. It's like, what's all the things that need to be done? And you're sort of just categorizing them.
Yeah.
That goes to that person, that goes to that person, that goes to that person. As a business owner, smaller your business, the more of those things that you're responsible for.
Yeah.
You don't have time to do all of them.
Yeah.
And as the business expands, so does everyone else's roles, because they all sort of feed into each other.
Exactly.
So yeah, you've just pulled bits from all of those and created a hybrid role, which is super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah.
Sweet. So 18 months in, what's been your top 3 challenges? What's some of the big, like, oh my God, that was like, I never want to do that again.
Wow. All right. So, goodness me. There's a few of them. To be honest, for myself, it's just that balancing of, we spoke about it before, like, you know, that juggling. Like, over here, I'm working on lead generation. And then all of a sudden, I'm not doing something as simple as invoicing. And then I'm wondering why cash flow is not happening. And it's like, oh yeah, because I've been trying to get leads. And then it was like, and then you're hiring, and then you're focusing on hiring. So I guess big things for me would be time blocking is something I've been doing recently, which is helping a lot. Another big thing would probably be to managing time at work and time at home. Really, that's been a huge challenge for myself. When I say time at work and home, I don't just mean me physically, I mean mentally, like like being absolutely present either at work or either at home. So that's been a massive challenge for me because people ask who I am, like, I'm a dad and I'm a husband first. And then after that, I'm a business owner. So you got to think where your priorities are. So another big thing is probably staff. It is people. I love, like, it's what I love about the business is you can build new relationships, but staff, it is a challenge. But what I am proud of is that we do a toolbox every 2 weeks and we do a one-on-one every month. And I learn so much about the team and they feel valued. As much as it has its challenges with time and everything like that, that is definitely something that I value in our company and I'm proud of.
It's invaluable, man. Like that is the connection you have. That's the relationship, right? You sending them jobs and calling them to ask if the job's going well and, did you do this, did you do that every day? You might be talking to them every day, but that's not relationship building, that's transactional.
Exactly.
And those one-on-ones and those toolbox, it's like bringing your friends together and then having a poker night, and then the one-on-one is, going having a sauna,
exactly right.
You get really close with those, and those moments you can get a bit more vulnerable because it's a safe place.
100%.
So it's a really cool way of looking at it.
100%. I really I don't want to just be pitching, oh yeah, we've got great culture, we've got great this, great that. I really want to grow. We're going to do something great, and I want people to want to be involved in what we do because I think it's going to be pretty good. Like I say, like you talk about social media, you'll see all our social media, there's no photos of ceiling fans or strip lights, it's all the team. We want everyone to want to be a part of what we're doing because we think it's pretty cool. Like some of the things we talk about in our one-on-ones, it's not just work stuff. We say, all right, what do you want to achieve in the next month in work? What do you want to achieve in the next month in your personal life? And how can I help you achieve that? And how can you help you achieve that? And we talk about that together. We come back together after a month and it's actually really cool.
It's coaching, right?
Yeah.
So you're coaching your team to
live
live a better life.
And I get a lot out of it. In a selfish way, I get a lot out of it as well.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. And you'll get things like someone might want to get better at their golf swing and someone might want to have better sleep habits. Or, there's so many different things. And I'm fortunate enough to be in a position that sometimes you can aid and help in those spots. And for me, that is already a version of success, is being able to help people. Like I gave, one of the boys took a day off to do a bit of renovating at their house, last minute had to be done. I was able to let one of the first year apprentices give them a hand for a day. Now that for me is like a version of success that I've already reached that I never thought I would. And so, I don't know, it's just different.
Cool, bro.
Yeah, really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And how do you make sure that the business doesn't get so busy that you don't get so busy in the business that you don't get time to do those things? What's your strategy to make sure it happens no matter what?
Time blocking and prioritizing.
Yeah.
So easier said than done, but there is just some things that are more important than others.
Yeah.
Like for me, if it's the difference between getting a quote in on time or having that toolbox meeting, then for me it's the team. Especially if it's been over 2 weeks, everything's got to move. It's really important, and I want the team to feel that it's important. And, sometimes things are going to happen, but I just want that trust in the team.
Yep.
So that time blocking and really working out what's important.
So for the people that don't know what you're talking about, can you try and visualize for them, like talk in a way that they can visualize listening?
Yep.
What does time blocking and prioritization look like for you?
Well,
how do you do it?
Well, for an example, so I've got my calendar on my computer, different colors. I know at 10:30 on a Monday, I'm in here talking to Josh, the coach, and that's blocked out. So every second Monday should be 1 hour, but it ends up in an hour and a half of our toolbox meeting, and that is blocked out.
Yeah.
So these locked out spots, and sometimes they're a personal thing as well. Like if I'm to pick up the kids from kinder, that is blocked out. So it's as important as a meeting. So if someone's trying to schedule something in that spot, then it can't go there. So it needs to find another spot.
Yeah.
It also helps to be prepared when someone calls you on the fly saying, can you come and have a look at this job? And you're like, yeah, on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're like,
I had all those other things I needed.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So when I say time blocking, it's not just work, it's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The amount of people that don't use a calendar, what calendar do you use?
Outlook. So I'm a little old school compared to others, but for me, I just like the colors. I like how it's laid out.
I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
You got to use some sort of a calendar. Even people that might have Simpro or ServiceMate or Tradify, whoever, they don't use their own schedule block in their own. They've got no calendar. So they're literally flying by email. Trying to go, what's next? Oh, I got a phone call. I'll do that. I get a phone call. I've got a job. I'll go. Like without time blocking and a calendar, you don't know what your priorities are.
Exactly.
So it's super cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So what's some other challenges that you faced?
Some other challenges. To be honest, one of the major challenges for me is having a vision. I've got a vision, which I'm really excited to talk about tomorrow at Strategy Day. It is getting there. So by that, I mean, I can't get there if I'm being reactive. Now there's things like, I'm fortunate enough that we've built a network of relationships that the phone rings. You get asked to quote jobs. Can you do this work? Can you do that work? I'm still in a role where I am quoting and everything. As I get drawn to those things, that my job, like I said earlier, is to get work and look after the team. That is a priority. But that is not getting us much closer to that vision. So I am probably finding that internally quite hard, that I feel like while I am doing my role as keeping the team busy and the schedule full, I'm probably not getting as close to the vision that I'd like to. And that is, working on big scale businesses, electrifying them, renewable energy, turning over their fleets from, Ford Rangers to Tesla Model Ys, and then being able to show them the benefit of doing so. So that for me is that that carrot, but I feel like we're not getting much closer. But it's still a benefit. I'm fortunate enough that the phone's still ringing. So it's just that battle. It's like, be content with what you've got. Or do you want to? I
think also, like I talk about this as well, like is a lot of people feel in those big goals that you need to, if we take marathon, for example, again, they feel like I've got to train massive all the time, but you really don't. Like you just need to start, and you need to do a little bit every day for like a long period of time. And even with any of those big goals, it's almost like what you're saying with time blocking. Start with something that helps you move forward towards that goal every day. But it can be half an hour. Because that will snowball in your subconscious, and it will just continue to grow and compound every single day, and it will just become reality. Before you know it. You know what I mean? So
consistency is much more important.
Than sprints.
And we've found this, especially like in the office. Like we mentioned before about time blocking. Like Sam in the office. So he's got a big passion for marketing and stuff. So between 10 and 2 on Wednesday, that's what he's doing. Now, if we didn't do that, we're busy. He wouldn't touch that for a month.
Yeah.
You know, but instead we've got, 16 hours of marketing because of exactly what you just touched on, that consistency and that time blocking. So you're right. I think that is super important in doing that. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. What have you noticed from, obviously you've met a lot of the Academy members and you've met people that have been in business a long time, and then you started early learning about how to run a business, then did it. What do you think the benefit is learning earlier how to run a business versus someone that might be thinking about joining but they're not sure because they've already been in business for so long and that?
Well, I would say probably one of the biggest challenges I can see other members go through is the change of systems and that hesitation, not just for them, but also for their staff.
Yeah.
And you quite often hear, oh, that's another change, that's another app. And I can understand that would probably be a major challenge. It's easy for me to say, going with the mindset of that you're starting fresh, because that's what I got to do. I was very fortunate to be able to do that. And it was hard. I had different challenges, lack of capital, lack of staff, lack of time. But, I would say, if you want to use my example as one, it has worked for me now, even though it was super challenging at the start. So yeah, hugely beneficial. And I personally don't see many members that have gone the path that I have, which was start before they start.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Academy itself is an investment. And when you got no money, it's like, oh, should I pay the money? I've got mates in the trade. They're like, oh, when I win a few more jobs, I'm going to join a coaching group.
Yeah.
It's like what you say about hiring an admin, hiring staff. It's like, when I get more work, I'll hire someone. It's the same sort of thing. So I would say, don't wait, but also time block and implement the time.
And do it.
Yeah,
what's really cool about what you said and what's probably led to a lot of your success is that consistency. And a lot of people will let reactivity get in the way of their progression. And it's sad. It's sad for me to see as well, because I know if they just prioritize properly, then they would be able to continue to move forward and grow. But it does. When that reactivity does, it encapsulates you, right? Like you feel like a weight is on your shoulders and you can't breathe sometimes. Yeah. So I totally get it. When you feel like that, what's some strategies you do to pull yourself back out?
It's been happening a fair bit lately, that feeling of overwhelm. And also I have this strange habit of fixating on something and it has to be done right now. I'll be up until midnight doing it. And then all of a sudden the next day, it actually doesn't matter anymore. And just really trying to take a second and realize, what's the worst case scenario here? Why don't I just text them and say I'll be 24 hours late on that quote? And majority of the time it's fine. And now you've just like taken a breath. And we've spoken a bit about this today, but I've definitely been implementing a little bit of try to calm with some breath work. And that's really been helping me in states of overwhelm and anxiety, especially because you need to show up for a lot of people and it's contagious, that state. So I think it's really important.
Yeah, I think for everyone, and it's just not standard, but prioritizing sleep, prioritizing nutrition and exercise, like it just helps your brain work better. Your body feels better. You can show up for yourself, your team, your family better. But in those times of the business is encapsulating you, those things sort of drop off. You stop sleeping right. That affects the way you feel. So you eat shit. Then you don't go to the gym because you don't have the energy. It's just a snowball, right?
100%. And I guess if I can speak to something that I've stuck to, that I've fought against a lot, is I have had these boundaries that those are things I'm not going to let go. That, getting up early to train from 5 till 6 a.m. And then I can show up. And that is like, create yourself some non-negotiables. 1 day missed is a mistake. 2 days missed is a habit. So that's...
Love that.
Yeah, so that's what I try to lead to. And I'll also, every time I can, do that, say training for an example, I will, because you never know what's going to happen the next day. Because that could be your missed day. So look after yourself so you can look after others. I just honestly, there's this, I feel like it's almost like society tells us, and I know I felt this way for a long time, looking after yourself can be considered selfish, but it's actually incredibly selfless because of how you can show up. And I'm really learning that recently. Yeah,
so you're saying in the sauna as well that you like to draw instead of journaling, because I talk a lot about journaling. I love to journal, but you prefer to do it in a visual way. Can you talk a little bit about that? And I'd love for you to share the analogy you shared with the buckets as well.
Yeah, so I've tried journaling and just based on a few things that are happening in my life, I feel like some circumstances I don't like to relive and rewrite, especially before going to sleep, right? So and also it could be a long period of time, whereas I'm a very visual thinker and I've sort of started drawing a few things that are going on for me, and it helps me to have analogies. And one of those things is trying to come to terms with the fact of this feeling of feeling selfish when I'm looking after myself, my health, my fitness, things like that. So a picture I drew was a bucket at the top, which was me. It's called myself, essentially. And there's two holes at the top of it. There's a bucket either side. One's my family and one's contribution. I've worked out after a bit of self-reflection that a lot of what I get a lot of joy out of is contributing to other people. And I know it might sound cliche, but it's just something I really love to do. And obviously family is the reason why I do everything. So I feel as I fill that bucket, myself, as that's full to the top, it overflows through those two holes and fills up those buckets of contribution and of family. Now, if on that bucket of myself, those two holes are quite low, then I'm not filling up my bucket before I'm giving away all my energy and all my efforts to the contribution and to my family, and they're not receiving much at all anyway. Yeah. So I just kind of like to visually think of it that way, that if I can't look after myself, I definitely can't look after the other things that are most important to me in my life.
That's really cool. Yeah. And it's almost like the holes will come, like the less you look after yourself, the lower the holes go. So your bucket's, flowing out to the people below you at less of a fulfilling way.
Exactly right.
Have you ever seen that book? Have you ever read that book to your kids, The Bucket Book? Well, I don't even know.
Nah, I haven't actually.
There's a book that we used to read to the kids, and it was like, there's bucket givers and there's bucket dippers.
Okay.
And people that dip from other people's buckets, because their bucket's so low, they start trying to take. So they'll start criticizing, they'll start being selfish, they'll start being, they get upset with other people being happy because their bucket's so low.
Yeah.
And so they start dipping, so bullying and being mean and that sort of stuff. But if you fill your own bucket first, as your bucket gets full, and say it does overflow, let's just say there's no holes, it just overflows, it can flow into other people's buckets and fill other people's buckets.
That makes sense.
And so, and the other cool thing about filling other people's buckets, so lifting other people up and making people feel good, is that's contribution, and that fills your own bucket.
100%.
So then you're like filling your own bucket by having a full bucket.
Yeah. 100%. It's like, it's like what they say, it's like a rising tide lifts all ships. It's like everyone around you then becomes better and more fulfilled if you're looking after yourself. Yeah. And it's a really cool analogy, and I really like that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really important that we look after ourselves, so I appreciate that. Bro, thanks for coming out. It's a great conversation.
Yeah.
And so stoked and proud of you for what you've done in 18 months.
Thanks, man.
And can't wait to see what you do next year.
Legend, man.
Ledge.
Appreciate it. Thank you, man.
I'll see you later.
Awesome.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Have a good one. See you next time.